Okay, so I'm on page 214 of your textbook now. In many cases, especially like in this area, you're going to find that there are a lot of people that are paid on a piece rate. So this piece rate is going to be based upon commissions, or piecework is based upon the number of pieces or the number of items that a person creates, or maybe even, selling per item. A lot of different ways of piecework will work, but commissions are going to be based upon some other means of figuring out if you're making based upon performance. Okay, so both of these are really about performance earnings. Okay, while the other ones was the other way we looked at it was about hours, how many hours did you work, or if it were salary. This is about some type of performance measure. So the way we work for piecework type rates, we're going to find the pay per item time multiplied by the number of items produced. And this is an example here where the gross earnings is 43 cents, the gross earnings will be based upon. So in this, let's say you're a truck driver and you drive 520 miles in one day, and you're paid a piecework rate of 43 cents per mile. So you're going to take the gross earnings will be computed by taking the 43 cents multiplied by the 520 miles, and that's going to give you the total of $223.60. So that becomes your gross earnings. Instead of looking at an hourly rate, we're going to figure out what's your gross rate. So the example here is Stacy Arrington is paid 73 cents for sewing a jacket collar, 86 cents for a sleeve with cuffs, 94 cents for a lapel, and 1 week she sewed 318 jacket collars, 112 sleeves with cuffs, and 37 lapels. Find her gross earnings. So we're going to take the jacket collars. Well, the rate for jacket collars is 73 cents. So there you put the 73 cents down. And then we're going to turn around and take the number of jacket collars that she completed. So she sewed 318 jacket collars. 73 cents multiplied by 318 gives us the 232.14. All right. Sleeve cuffs, 86 cents. There's the 86. And she has 112 of them. There's the 112. 86 times 112 gives you the $96.32. And then the lapels were the rate is 94 cents. The number of lapels were 37, so 94 cents times the 37 gives us $34.78. So we're going to add the sum of these, and we're going to end up with a total gross earnings of $363.24. Pretty clear, pretty straightforward. Nothing too difficult about it. Now this one's kind of interesting, where essentially the rate changes as the number of units increase. So in other words, you're going to be given a base amount. A deco is looking for individuals who enjoy working with their hands and are willing to bend, cut, and insert discrete electronic components such as integrated circuits into standard printed circuit boards and solder as required. So this could be a pretty tedious job, but the way they incentivize their employees to work and work faster, work harder, is they say, well, if you only do 1 to 100 units, you're going to get paid $2.10. However, if you come up somewhere between 101 and 150, so anything over 100 units is going to be paid at $2.25. And then if you're a real star and you're making over 150 units, so anything over 150, you're going to be paid $2.40. Now, it's graduated, means it changed. The first 100 are going to pay at $2.10 no matter what. So if you never cleared 100, you're still going to get $2.10 per unit. But if you clear 100, then you start making some more money on those extra amounts. And that's just an incentive to get these people moving quicker and faster. And then if you really are a star, like I mentioned before, if you get over 150, you're going to get higher money. So if, let's see, what does she make? If she makes 214 units, though, we're going to take the 214 and we say, okay, the first 100 is going to be paid at $2.10. So let's go ahead and take that first 100 units and run the numbers. So 100 units at $2.10, and she's going to get paid for those first 100 units, $210. You guys got that? All right, now, we've accounted for the 100 units. The total is 214, so let's just subtract it. Let's just take that 100 units out. So now we're end up with 114 units left remaining. Now we know that between 101 and 50, that's another 50 units. So we'll do the computations on the next 50 units. That's going to be at 225. So the next 50 units at 225 each, 50 times 225 should get paid $112.50 for that. Make sense? Okay, so with that, we're going to get $112.50. And now we're going to go ahead and subtract the 50 units that we've accounted for here. We've accounted for 150 units so far. We're going to subtract 50 units from the 114 remaining, and that's going to leave us a 64 units remaining. So now those 64, we've already taken 150 out. The 150 are up to here. Now we're saying, okay, anything over 150, which is going to be 64 that's remaining, so that 64 is going to be subject to $2.40. 64 times $2.40 gives us 153.60. Now to double check, we're going to add these up. 100 plus 50 plus 64. That gives us a 214 units. That's exactly what we're trying to get at. So we're going to get the total number of units. We figured out what each area is going to pay, and then we're going to add this up. So now the gross earnings for for the worker who produced 214 units is going to be $476.10. Now, one of the things that's kind of interesting, that even if you pay somebody on a piece rate, in the state of California, you still have to pay the minimum wage rate per hour, because the minimum wage I think in California is up to, I think it just depends on, well, I know it depends on the size of the company, but I think it's somewhere around $12 per hour. So even if you're going to pay piece rates, you still have to also compute at the same time the hourly rates, or the amount that they would earn if they're working on an hourly basis. And even if their piece rates are low, then they'll have to essentially be paid the hourly rate. Okay, so the example we're going to be looking at is a tire installer, where the tire center actually offers one or the other, and this is kind of like the state of California, although this is the way this company runs its show. So the tire installer says, I'm going to pay you $10.50 per hour. That's the minimum. But you're also can get paid $3.20 per tire. So we're going to compare those two, whichever is the higher one. So Monday, who was it? This individual, whoever he is, made 32 or installed 32 tires. Tuesday he was pretty lazy, only did 24 hours. Wednesday he picked it up, he got 34 hours. That's the peak of the week, so he was really strong. Thursday he slowed way down, but 33. On Friday he did 33 tires, just trying to get finished for the day so he can get home. All right, but anyway, each day he worked 8 hours. So we're always going to compare what the piece rate is and compare that to the 8 hours. 8 hours times the hourly rate. So in this case, the hourly earnings for an 8-hour day is $84. That's what he's got to make a minimum of that. So 8 times $10.50 gives you the 84. If it were California right now, it would be $12 per hour. That would be the minimum for minimum wage rates. Okay, but we're going to pay them the larger of the hourly or the piecework, so whichever is larger. So on Monday, 32 times 320, he made $102.40. So he was good to go. On Tuesday, the lazy day, he made $84 on the piece rate. All right. Oh, okay. This is what's showing. So yeah, he's going to get paid $84. When you run the piece rate, it's only $76.80. So even if they were just going to pay him the piece rate, it'd be $76.80. But in this case, the $84 is more, so that's what he's going to get paid. For Wednesday, he wins on the piece rate. It comes up to $108.80. Thursday, however, it only comes up to $70.40. So now the hourly rate wins, and then Friday the piece rate wins. So we're going to add up the total, and so he's going to get $484.80. And the key is to remember that he earned. The key is to remember that when he earns more on a piece rate, he'll get more, but the minimum is going to be the $84. So when the piece rate comes up underneath that, like in these two cases, then we have to default to the hourly rates. Okay? Okay, so let's go on and see if we can do an example here. John Taylor fulfills order shipments at a large distribution center. He pulls items from stack of inventory before handing orders to an operator who shrink wraps the orders and puts an address on label. John is paid $1.85 per order, fulfilled during regular time and time and a half for all orders filled during overtime. Find his gross earnings for a week in which he fulfilled 293 orders during regular time and 36 orders during overtime. All right, so the gross earnings at a regular piece rate is going to be $1 okay, that's the other thing, is that apparently with this case, he's going to be getting when he's working overtime, he's going to get time and a half on the piece rate. So the piece rate for the 293 pieces is going to be at a straight $1.85. But since he had 36 orders that were during overtime, they're going to give him time and a half on that. So we're going to take the $1.85, multiply that by 1.5 times, and that's going to give you 36, or times the 30. I'm sorry, 185 times 1.5 or 1.5. Then multiply that times the 36 pieces or orders, and the total amount here is $99.90. We're going to take the regular piece rate earnings of $542.05, that was at $293 at $1.85, and we're going to add the overtime earnings on the overtime piece rate of time and a half. That turns out to be $99. We're going to add those two together, and so John Taylor ends up earning $641.95. Okay, that covers piece rates. We're going to go into gross earnings, looking at commission rates times the amount of sales. Okay, commission rate times the amount of sales. So if you, the example would be like if you're a realtor, real estate person, you often work on a commission. And the first example is exactly that. So if you're a real estate broker and you charge 6% commission, find the commission on a house selling for $385,000. So if you sell a house for $385,000, you compute your commission by simply taking the gross amount that was the base, which in this case is $385,000. We're going to multiply that by the 6%. 6% of 385, that's the commission. Of is always multiplication. So 6% multiplied by 385 gives you 23,100. That's the commission. Now sometimes you're going to have a return, so let's take a look at Amanda Roach. Apparently she is selling food supplements, and she had sales of $10,230 in 1 month with returns and allowances of $1,120. So her gross income is a commission rate at 12%. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the net amount of her earnings. In this case, it's going to be the $10,230 gross sales minus $1,120 return and allowances, and we're going to multiply that by 12%. So the net would be the gross minus the returns and allowances. That turns out to be $9,110. And we'll multiply that times the 0.12, or the 12%, and that's going to give us $1,093. All right, now this is going to be pretty similar to what we computed before, where you're going to get different rates based upon levels of sales. So as an example here, Maureen O'Connor sells, she'll get, the system is worked out so that if she sells up to $10,000 worth, she's going to get 6%. But if she exceeds $10,000, somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000, she's actually going to get paid 8% on that. And if she exceeds $20,000 in one period, then she's going to get a 9%, anything above that. But just remember, the first 10,000 are still going to get the 6%, then after that 8%, then after that 9%. So we've got to compute each one separately, but we're going to do it pretty similar. So it looks like her total sales were $32,768. So we're going to take that total, and we know, okay, that's way over 10,000. So let's first figure out how much she's getting on that first 10. So 10 times the 6, that's 600. 10,000 times the 6% gives you 600. Now, anything above that, well, let's subtract it. So we're going to take the 32,760, subtract the 10, and that's going to leave us with 22,768. So now we're going to say, okay, well now the next 10,000, that's between 10,001 and 20,000, that's 10,000, is going to be at 8%. So let's take that 10,000. 10,000 times the 8% is going to be $800. All right, so we're good, except now we're going to subtract that 1,000 because she went over 32. So now we're into 32. We've only accounted for the first 20,000, and now we're going to go to the next, and there's 12,768 remaining. That is going to be tax. Rate's going to be at 9%. So 12,768 at 9% is going to give us $1,149.12. So the total amount is 25. If we add these 600 plus the 800 and the $1,149.12, we're going to add those all together. We're going to get $2,549.12. We can double check to make sure we've accounted everything. We're going to add this up. We end up with $32,768, which is essentially what she has in total. Okay? All right. Let's see. Sometimes we have a situation where you're going to get a base salary and you're going to add commission on that. So that's kind of nice because then you feel secure that you're going to get at least a minimum amount. But then if in fact it turns out that you're having a very good month or a very good week or whatever period that is covering, then you may get some added money. Okay, so as an example here, we'll look at Jamie Bailey is paid $450, that's the base salary, plus 3% on all sales over $500, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at her gross earnings. We're going to compute her gross earnings by taking the weekly salary, which is $450, and then we're going to add to that 3% for anything over $500. Now, it turns out that her sales for the week were $8,255. So that's pretty simple. We're going to take, if it's over 500, we're going to take 8,255. We're going to subtract from that 500 because it's everything over 500. So we're going to subtract that. And then whatever that balance is, which is 7,755, that's going to be multiplied by 3%. Okay, 0.03. And we're going to run this computation, put the parentheses there. This has to be done first. We have 232.65, 3% of 7,755 is 232.65. We're going to take that, add that to the 450, and the total amount is 682.65. So that would be the gross earnings. Okay, so this last part we're going to be talking about is when you have a situation where a commission-based earnings plan may be a strong deterrent hiring new salespeople. So many companies offer a salary plus commission instead of a straight commission. And the example number 9 talks about how you could be subtracting draws to find earnings. So for example, Craig Johnson has office product sales of $36,850 for the month and is paid an 8% commission on all sales. Find his gross earnings after subtracting $850 draw he took earlier in the month. So in this example here, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to compute what the commission is, the commissions, and then you're going to subtract whatever the draw is. So in this case, it's $36,850 multiplied by the 8%, and that results will be then used to subtract from it $850. So this results in $2,948. We're going to subtract $850. And so the bottom line is $2,098. So this is an example when you have draws that are paid in advance to a salesperson, in which case you then compute immediately what is their commission, which is computed here, and then subtract any draws that are available.